Hello and good evening. It's day one of, sorry, there's something else coming there. I'll just wait until a few of you come online. Let me have a look. Obviously the people sending me messages aren't in the group and ready to watch. So let's just have a look. No doubt I won't be able to see messages on there. So let me go into the Scrappy Quilt. There we are. Oh, 27 of you already, 30. Lovely, absolutely amazing. Considering we have 196 members, absolutely incredible. So, hi Liz, hi Jill and John, hello Christine, hello Sue, Marilyn, Yvonne, Caroline, Heather, Kathleen, Patsy, and Carol, and Patricia. My goodness, what do you do for Saturday evening? Obviously the same thing as I do. You watch a little bit of a few lives on Facebook. I mean, perhaps it might be a nice time to do a live, I don't know. Anyhow, hello Wendy and Beverly, and Julie, and Judith, and Sue, and Jill. Oh my goodness, nobody's working. Everybody stopped sewing for the time being, just to hear a little bit about what we are going to be doing. Now there's Sharon, Virginia, and Bridget. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Now, I'm hoping I've actually put some of the pieces that I've already done on the wall over there. So I'm hoping that you can't see it. I put a quilt on that chair so that it hides some things, but it doesn't hide the quilt. So I won't be showing that part of it. I wanted to see if it worked. Now I must admit, here's a little tip. I wanted a design wall, and I know you can buy specific fabrics for it. But what I did, I'm in the conservatory, of course, and there is a wall where I've had, you've seen my rolls of fabric standing up against it. Well, I've moved that all out, so I've got a clear wall there. And with a conservatory roof, obviously it's UPVC. So I bought myself some self-adhesive Velcro, hook and loop, and I have stuck that to the UPVC at the top. And then I have just hung, I will show you tomorrow when I've taken them down, I have hung thermolam wadding, 36 inches wide, from the ceiling to the floor. And it works as a design wall. So some of the blocks I've made, I've put on there, not just, you just put them against it and it clings to it. I am well chuffed, I really am. So if you're thinking you would like a design wall, for putting your blocks on and sort of auditioning them in what orientation you want them to be, that's the thing to do, and quite an easy way. I bought my self-adhesive Velcro, 8 metres was £7, something like that, 8 metres of it, off of the Long River, but I have got some somewhere, but who knows where it is, and it is amazing. So let's just have a look, because we're not going to be long tonight. I'm going to tell you where we begin. So I'll just say hello to a few more people, and we have almost 80 here. So hello Sue, hello Isabel. What a superstar. Yes, are we watching Strictly soon as well? Hi Vanessa, and Carolyn, and Gita. Oh, I know, I needed to be a little bit warm. Another little secret I'll let you into. I am such a meanie, but today, or this evening, as of half an hour ago, is the first time I put the heating on. It was on the tip of my tongue yesterday, and then I didn't tell Martin. He's kept saying, shall we put the heating on? No, 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 we're fine. But tonight I said, let's give it a go. And it's come on, and boy, what a difference. What a difference. So I'm going to be warm from now. I'm sure you probably had yours on before now. But you see, I say to him, what's the point of making a bill when you can have that spare money to buy fabric? He could buy music, I could buy fabric, you know? It's the right thing, isn't it? Hello Liz, hello Janet, hello Joanne, and Susan, and Margaret. Right. Hello Christine, hello Susan, hello Jan. Oh, it's lovely at this time, Caroline. Jolly good, jolly good. I might do a few more then. Hello Linda, hello Phyllis, Rosemary. Oh, that's good. You'll be able to watch everything now. Hello Deborah, hello Anne, Leslie. You're still on the couch, but on the coach. Oh, lovely, but you're watching. Lovely. Perhaps some others will want to join us, because you can always join after the event. Well, others can if they want to. Hello Michelle, and hello Pauline, and Patricia, and Barbara. And she says hi to all the scrappers here tonight. Pollyanne. Oh, only on the phone. Never mind. That's a big enough screen to see me. Hello Jack. Curtain buying. How nice, the two of you together. Hello Bev. Hello Sue says, what a good idea. Yeah, it's worked. As I say, I can't show you it because I put some blocks on there. Where there's a will, there's a way, you know. Hello Brenda. Oh, well, I hope you're improving now. I do think about you lots, as we all do. Oh right, Caroline, you'd heard of that anyway. It just suddenly came to me and I thought, well, you know, rather than going out and buying something specific. Hello Sharon. I know, it's not falling off now. Still up there, it's been up there for 3 or 4 hours. Yep. Hello Karen. Oh, I see, Jill. Jill's been doing a Scrappy Quilt. There are no instructions, Jill, so I shan't be sending them to you. It will be just as we see it, because it's really, really easy. Strictly. And Helen too. Oh, Deborah's just ordered a cutie frame to quilt it on. Yes. Now, you see, mine is still in the box, but it will come out. However, have you seen that they are bringing out, and I'm so bad, but I'm really thinking, shall I, shan't I? They're bringing out a mini cutie frame, and it is much smaller, probably half the size. There's not too many details about it yet, but it is £349 from J&B Sewing. And I'm really, really tempted. It needs a £50 deposit, but I thought, I don't need both, obviously, but with a smaller one, and for mini quilts, and for anything else that's smaller, it would be so handy. So have a look at that if you've thought about having a quilting frame. The other thing, any of the smaller machines would be ideal for a smaller frame. So just putting it out there, you know. Yes, so you will love it, Deb. Well, I'm saying you'll love it. I haven't got mine up yet, have I? Jack says, put a jumper on. Exactly, that's what I've said all this time. And Barbara, you're right. Fabric wins every time. Oh, Amanda hasn't put yours on yet. I might go and turn it off then. I felt guilty not putting it on. Hello, Rena. Hello, Aurora. Hello, Kaz. Problem solving. Yes. Oh, yes. The fireworks have started here as well. Evening, Anne. Evening, Sue. Virginia, you've got blankets on you. Yeah, I do that too. Oh, Pollyanne, put it back on the small screen. I think a thumbnail would be, you know, perfect. Not on the big screen. Oh, my goodness. I can't bear to think about it. Lynn's had to switch your phone on too. Oh, that's okay. It's not a problem. There we are. Hope you're feeling better, Brenda, says Jan, and I'm sure we all do too. Hello, Sandra. Jack's got the cats on to TV on to distract the cats. Jolly good. Pippa's multitasking, crocheting a festival jumper. Fabulous, fabulous. That's worked, Dan. Sue's heating's on too. Good. Oh, I don't feel so bad now. Hello, Carol. I could perhaps climb up my design wall and wrap it around me. It would come down then, I am sure. No, absolutely, Patricia. That's what I said to Martin. I said, what is the point of creating a bill when you don't have to. That's why I tell him to use the air fryer to heat up his sausage roll rather than turning the oven on for 20 minutes. You know, it's just, well, there we go. I thought, oh, what did I see this morning? I think Stuart Hillard had been wearing a nice crocheted scarf, which was triangular. And I thought, when I saw a picture, I thought, I want to do that. So I should be hunting tonight. I need to do a bit more crochet. Yes, so let me know if you, was the pattern on Sewing Street? I didn't see anything about it. Or was it another day that he'd been on? But it looked great, the lady that had made hers. Anyhow, I'm going to, let me see, I'm going to put my phone, where am I going to put it? Just here. Oh, I can't see that distance, can I? Right, so let's begin, because we have now got 20 minutes. So, welcome everybody to part 1 of, oh, I've got comments now, that's brilliant. Barbara's electricity bill's gone right down since we got our air fryer. Yeah, I know. I am quite pleased, if you like, with what I've been paying. So I thought, perhaps we will put the heating on. You know, I can stand a little bit more, but I don't want to create bills for no reason. I find the air fryer really good. I'm having salmon and vegetables tonight, going in the air fryer. Ninja, oh yeah, you'll love it. I love it. The boys, when I do them, whether it be, I cook sausage rolls in there, cakes in there, I air fry their chips, fish fingers, whatever they want, chicken nuggets usually, but air fry all the way, absolutely. And, you know, very rarely do I use the oven, except Martin does. Yeah, you will love your air fryer. So, anyhow, let's get on to what we are going to be doing. And as I was saying, welcome everybody to part 1. Oh, was it, Kathleen? Part 1, day 1, evening 1 of the Mystery Scrappy Quilt Sew Along. Now, I'll tell you right now, you don't have to sew along with me when we start tomorrow sewing, but you can if you'd like to. So what I'm going to talk about tonight is your requirements and what you need to do in between, if you're going to sew along, that is, in between now and tomorrow, Sunday evening at 6 o'clock. So, I haven't put the PDF that I put, oh, pardon me, into the group yet, but I will. As soon as we've finished, they'll be dancing the first bit, won't they? And I'll go into this group, and in the files you will find everything that I'm just going to say now. So, requirements. You will need a variety of fabric scraps that are at least 6 inches square. We're going to cut them a little bit smaller. The more you have, the bigger the quilt you can make. So, you know, you do it as big or as small as you like. I must admit, the bigger the quilt you do, the more you will see the effect of the finished article. So you will also need, and this is also depending on size, 1/2 metre plus, so at least 1/2 metre of a plainer fabric. So let me just show you what I've been using. I was just going to show you a little bit of cutting as well. So my plainer fabric is a white on white. How boring, you say, but it can be any fabric that gives a high contrast between your scraps and the piece that you need. I would say use all the same for what I'm calling the background fabric. The background is actually going to be more the background with scraps, but you need one consistent, what would I say, hue, if you like. So as long as this is working well for me, and if you have a white fabric, you can use any scraps, any hue of scrap that you like. So I was going to use, these are some fabrics out of. So let's have a look here. So the scraps compared with your background fabric need to have a high contrast. How long did yours have? I haven't joined it together yet, Judith. I haven't joined it together, but it wouldn't be, yes, calico would work, absolutely would. So here we have, right, so say my scraps were all this colour, were all red. I have got, and this is going to be my background, you can see I got a high contrast. This is very, very light. This is a lot darker. Now you can in fact, so that's darker, but like this piece of fabric here, there's still a good contrast because this is what I would call a medium. Oh, you were asking Jill about her chicken. Okay. So you've still got a contrast, but the higher the contrast, the better. The pattern will stand out even more. Hello, Josie. What I would suggest that you don't do is have, so here's another one. If you have your background fabric as this one, and then you use your scraps around there, there is can you see there's very little contrast? They are similar. They are too much the same. Evening, Jenny. So nothing is going to stand out to show what design you have. Let me just see if I've got another. Now, okay. So let's have a look there. Now I have got a good contrast there, haven't I? I've got a very light here, and even though this is not dark, there's a very good contrast. But if you were to put, you see, even like those two, so it's like having black and white. Oh no, that's not too bad at all. No, those two. Okay, so if you put those two together, they're different, but they are far too similar. Oh, you're talking about cooking now, right? Okay. Is your white fabric? Yes, it's being used. I'm calling it my background, but you'll see when you start to make it. Yeah, the one that I'm calling background is giving me, without giving it away, it's giving me the design within. So you know when you do log cabin and you do the same sort of thing, have that good contrast with one side of the block and the other. So you've got a dark one and a light one. You can turn them around, and depending on what orientation, it will give you a different design. And I would call there the lighter fabric, I would call that the background. It's not essentially the background fabric, but it is the lighter one. On the other hand, if you wanted your background to be dark, so you wanted the pattern that's being formed to show in a dark fabric, then you can use your scraps as all light ones. So you could use white or white and white on your scraps. You could use, say, creams, anything that's a complete contrast. So I hope that shows you, you've got lots of scraps. I hope that shows you, because that is the most important thing, the contrast between your fabric scraps and what I'm calling the background. Now, even though I'm using one fabric, this one fabric as my background, if you were going to choose a light background like this, if you've got lots that are very light, I mean, you might have a white with pale blue spots on it, say, or you might have a white that's got a checkered white and ivory, but very pale. You could use lots of different ones and not all the same. That is flowers for Freya. Yes, so it would need a good, as I say, Barbara, it would need a good contrast. As many as you like. So what you're going to hear in a minute for cutting to size, if you wanted to, and this is where you will have loads, because let me tell you the size that you're going to cut squares. You're going to cut squares in your scraps or from your scraps that are 5 inches square. What do we get ready-made that is 5 inches square? We have charm packs, don't we? So if you've got any leftover charms, hello Eileen, you can add charms to your scraps, because obviously a charm pack is going to have probably at least 36 out of your 42 will be all different colours. How many colours in your scrap? As many as you like, as many as you like. If you want your scraps to be predominantly blue, choose lots of blue colours. Choose dark blues, mid blues, light blues, sky blues, powder blues. And then as long as your contrast, which I'm calling background, your contrast is much lighter, so white, ivory, the very palest of blues if you use the rest of darks. Oh, Virginia's got lots of charms. So you can use as many as you like. So 5-inch squares in your scraps. And I have a few sitting around. Oh, I was going to cut one, wasn't I, for you? And then with your what you're calling your background fabric, or your fabric that is going to be one fabric where possible, I want those to have 3.5-inch squares. Okay, so I have, before we came on live, I just found a strip of fabric like this. So hopefully I'm going to find, oh yes. So here's a scrap. I'm going to chop a bit off so that big enough. Oh, have I chopped that too much? Because what you'll be asking me soon, ugh, how ridiculously stupid. Okay, I just chopped that off, and it means that, and I haven't chopped it big enough to be 5 inches. So let's do it like that. Okay, so let me just, would grey work for background? Yeah, absolutely would. Grey would be perfect. If you wanted to use, spray time, you know the spray time fabric, which has got a nice mottled effect. If you wanted to use the cottage cloth, which has got a texture to it, it's always nice to have something that is more than a plain. But I would make this with plain white, or like I did last night's cathedral window, plain pink. Depending on what, you can use whatever you like. Hello, Tony. Right, so let me just dip this down. I'll just show you first. So I've got, this is what you may have, a scrap of fabric. And you may say, well, I don't know which is to get it square or to get it on, so it's on the straight, rather than on a bias or on a kilter. Sunshine Soul, Cloudy Blue. Oh yes, that would look lovely. You can do a bit of a test if you want. Now, I don't believe it will make too much difference if it isn't on the straight grain and cross grain. But if you pull it and there's hardly any stretch like that, I can tell that is the cross grain. So that is what goes across from selvage to selvage, because there's a tiny bit of stretch. If I turn it like that, and you can hear the sound, there's no stretch at all. So that would be the straight grain, that would be going straight down the fabric. And if you go like that, can you see? That's on the bias. So what we want to cut our square is in that orientation. So all I would do, because I'm going to show you, they are 5-inch pieces, Kathleen, 5-inch square, so that you can use your scrap charms if you want to. Hello, Helen. So, there is my fabric. Oops, that's a bit better there. And I have my ruler. So, I want 5 inches. So, I am just going to look And there is actually a selvage on there, but if there wasn't, it would be even harder. So I'm looking here. I'm using it as best I can. There's a little bit of extra there, a little bit of extra there. Let's just come in a little bit further. Whoops. Oh. Oh, that's better. Oh, 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 oh. Terrible. Whoops, there we go. There we go. Have we moved? It can't happen. I think perhaps they've just realised I've muted you. Oh dear. Are we back again? That's what I've done. Are we back again? I've actually flipped the camera around as well, I think, because you couldn't see. Oh my goodness. You missed all of my cutting. Oh, it was when I turned it down. Okay. Could you see what I was doing though? So with these, I had, oh you can, yeah, it got a big thing in the middle, mute. I didn't realise you couldn't hear that. Oh my goodness. So, these I cut a strip of a width of the fabric and I was cutting 3.5 inch squares. What I said was to just move your ruler over to the 3.5 inches, it is a mystery, and just keep cutting your 3.5 inch squares. So that was easy. Oh yes, I'm going to do that in a minute now. And also, prior to that were the 5 inch squares. Did you hear me say about stretching the fabric? So that means when I pull that like so, that is the grain, the straight grain. If I move it around, there's a little bit of stretch, a tiny bit. That is the cross grain. So that is from selvage to selvage. If my fabric went like that, that is the bias. You did see that, Hayes. Thank you. Thank you. So you've seen that. So your scraps are all going to be 5 inches square, and you can use charm squares for that. These are your 3.5 inch of your background. You need the same number of these as you do these. So if you cut yourself 50 fabric scraps, 5 inch squares, you will need 50 of these. Okay. On my bit of paper it does say that. So however big your quilt you want to be. So it sounds quite a lot actually. I'll start with the smallest number. So if you want a quilt that finishes without borders, so this is purely the blocks we're going to make, that is 27 inches by 45, look like 3.5 inch strips. They were, that's right. Absolutely, Bridget, you were watching and taking that in. So a quilt that is 27 by 45, which is quite big, you would need 60 squares. So you'd have 60 scrap squares, 5 inches, and 60 of your background, 3.5 inches. If you want it to be bigger, if you want it to be 36 by 54, you would need to cut 96. So there's everything in between, because which you can work out purely because your 5 inch square that starts off, when it's been sewn together, it will only be 4.5 inches. So with it being 4.5 inches, if you multiply however many squares you've got, so if you're doing a row of 12 of these, by 4.5 is 54. So you might want it 54 inches wide, which is, yeah, it's bigger than a single bed size, but 54 inches, you would need, your row would need to have 12 of these in. And then if you work out how long you want it to be, the number of 4.5s into the length you want it to be. Okay, hello Pat. I am here. So, as I've written here, from your contrast fabric, cut the same number of 3.5 inch squares as you have cut in your scrap 5 inch squares. Okay, are we all right for that? And I put now wait until tomorrow for the next step. So this evening, after you've watched Strictly and anything else that might come on, and tomorrow after you've been to church probably, you can start cutting. I would also say with scraps, if they are a bit crinkled or got a few creases in them, give them a press first before you start cutting. Okay, and then cut away to your heart's content. Tomorrow evening at 6, I'll be back here again, and I will be showing you what we are going to do with your scraps and with your 3.5 inch background squares. So if there's any other questions that you think of during the evening, pop it in the group, in this mystery Scrappy Quilt group, and I'll be looking as the evening progresses, and I'll answer them where I can. Okay, thank you for joining me. It is really exciting, and I'll see you tomorrow at 6. Bye for now.